Maybe you have a radio show talking about tennis and interview great tennis players. You know, one thing about being an expert isn't necessarily just you, it's all the people you bring in that are the experts. A good example, if you haven't read the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, he went out and researched the top millionaires and followed them around their whole life and wrote a book about the principles of being rich, and because of that, it positioned him as an expert. And that book is a national, international bestseller. It's been around for 50-something years, and it's an incredible book if you haven't read it. But there's a good example of where maybe you have that radio show, right? The other thing to talk about in helping you in the passion is and on your way is measuring your success. Like, is the amount of time you get to spend in those activities, do you enjoy them, and how much more do you want to be? Have you ever been in the zone, like you're doing something and you get into the zone, right? And you're like, man, I don't want to get out of the zone, right? Somebody wants you to do something, you're like deep in it, right? You keep and you're loving, and you just your mind, and we're going to talk about that because that's staying in the moment, which is part of what the affirmation was, is understanding to stay in the moment.
Because you've zoned in on your passion. You know, you've really found your passion, and you've started to develop something great out of it, and you get so excited as you're developing it that you get in that zone. And you know, one person that you know is very good at her passion is Oprah Winfrey.
Absolutely.
You know, Oprah's done a great job at, you know, creating her own network, helping a number of foundations. But her passion is helping people with their passions and helping people in general. And she's got a quote: "Passion is energy. Feel the power that comes from focusing on what excites you."
Absolutely.
And that's exactly that power. You guys, we're going to let you in on a little secret that almost every millionaire does. That's out there. Every single one of them, millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire. And we'll tell you about it when we get back from the break of the show. This is One Music Network, One Talk Network show, Get the You Factor, with Nicholas Fordham and Mike Driggers. We'll see you here in a bit.
Do we have technical issues?
We're good now. I plugged it in and I switched to this, and it took a while to read that camera.
Wow.
I was like, I hope that's not my computer.
It wouldn't read it, and I had to restart. So sorry about that, guys. You missed the first 5 minutes.
We had technical issues.
But the positive affirmation of the day is, I stay mentally present in each moment. So we're going to be back here shortly. Again, any of our shows, we also podcast them as well. So you're going to be able to listen to the full MP3 of this show as well, thanks to One Talk Network.
You gotta love technology,
Yeah.
right? It's a love and hate relationship. You love it because it's so cool, it does all this, but then when it fails, you hate it.
I was honestly this close to picking up the laptop and
Throwing it at you. Well, it doesn't help with the additional pressure coming in, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, additional pressure.
I like what you're saying. You motivate me.
Am I?
Yeah.
That's what I love. That's what I love, baby, right there. That makes my day, right? Dang, having that passion, that fire. If you're not on fire, your wood's wet. We gotta put some gasoline on it.
And wood's wet.
Yeah.
Count them in after it's the bumper.
Right.
Second thing, count them in.
And then I think I might come back in with the same intro.
Yeah, because you forgot to read it in the beginning.
Well, I couldn't because I was restarting.
Yeah, I know.
So.
I know. Rebooting. No more going to, remember, half hour before, nothing, no lunch, no smoke, no car drive, no, right?
No wet woody.
No. Come here, Bill. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on.
Got about 45 seconds.
Say hi to everybody.
Hey, say hi to, this is Bill
Broadcasting
Cook.
live.
He manages all the content with us and the interviewers and us. He manages us, which is like herding cats up a hill. But
Fluffy ones.
Fluffy, big fluffy ones, as you can see. So
It's so fluffy.
Bill's part of the team here.
30 seconds.
Forgot. We're on live in vision.
That never shuts off. These shut off, right? So they get the behind the scenes. They get everything.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
10 seconds.
It's like you're not picking your nose or something, you know?
4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to Get the You Factor. My name is Nicholas Fordham. I'm here with Mr. Mike Triggers.
Well, hello.
And we're talking about developing your strengths. But first, what is it that holds you from achieving greatness? Does greatness just come to those that are struck by lightning or have just hit that lucky streak? What really does make people achieve everything they want out of life? These questions span across the globe as millions of people settle into their life thinking that they don't have what it takes to truly get what they want out of life. Simply put, most people just give up on their dreams and aspirations to move forward with their repetitious habits that have been cemented around their lifestyle. Is this because they don't have what it takes to achieve their goals? The answer is no. You do have what it takes to accomplish anything you truly desire, and it starts with finding your inner you. With Get the You Factor, we go step by step in educating you on the key principles to achieving anything you want out of life. By tapping into our resources and following along with our weekly broadcasts, we will guide you through a journey of self-awareness and self-improvement. We will take you deep into your mind to determine what your mental blocks are that are holding you back from your true potential. You do have what it takes, and we are here to help you prove it to yourself. So we're talking about developing your inner strengths, and just before we went off to break, we were talking about finding that energy and passion. And we let you know that we're going to let you in on a secret that almost every millionaire, multimillionaire, and billionaire does. And every single one of them, what is it that they do, Mike?
The one thing that they do is they meditate. Meditation. And when you first hear about it, you envision like a slender vegetarian sitting on the pillow with the legs crossed and you know, and you're probably not alone because a lot of people think of that. But meditation is a tool that can be used by everyone, and you could consider the pillow if that was really what you do, but really meditation's more than that. The truth is meditation can be done every waking moment. Sitting on a pillow is a peaceful way in a quiet, low light situation of meditation, and you know, is like training wheels. But under the right circumstances, meditation can be done literally anywhere. And you can learn by meditate when it's the easiest. So for example, is it possible to meditate in a loud, smelly subway while you're angry at your spouse and stressed about work? No, that's not going to work, right? So while there are all kinds of meditations, we're going to use it for two purposes. One is meditate to stay focused, right? And you might have heard of the idea of mindfulness. This is simply the idea of staying focused on what it is in front of you. So if you're, for example, if you're washing dishes, you're only thinking about washing dishes. If you're playing tennis, as our tennis example, you're only thinking about playing tennis. You know, and this is what the affirmation is: to staying mentally present in each moment, staying focused on that particular subject or topic. And try this as a test. I want some folks out there to try this. Find a quiet place. It could be in your car, it could be at a park, it could be in a room, wherever it is. Simply sit there and breathe. And I want you to count every exhale that you do. And I want you to see how high you can get before you start thinking of something else, right? Before your mind wanders. If you can't make it to 100, you have some work to do, right? Most people can't reach 10 at their first, so don't feel bad if you can't, but try that, because your mind will start exploring even when you're counting.
Wow, I think I've got some issues. I'd probably make it to 2.
Well, I know that with my ADD, HD, and BMW and all that other letters, I have the same troubles as well. You know, staying focused has many benefits, and we understand that. And it's like, you know, the analogy I once used was, you think of a focus when you're meditating. You want to focus in on something, and a good example is like the lights that we're under here. We have the lights, and they're all spread out, right? So they're diffused over all in this whole room. But if I was to take that same light and put it through a magnifying glass, it makes it a fine pinpoint. It creates heat, and the heat creates fire and combustion. Well, when you're focusing, you want to get so laser focused, and you want to use that in your meditation, is focus on exactly what it is that you're wanting to strengthen, or your passion.
And you know, you look at the monks. Have you ever really studied the monks and how the monks do some of their meditation? And I forget which group it was, or if it's a part of martial arts, but I remember the story of these monks. I was taught as a child in meditation, and what they would do is they would imagine, as they're kind of meditating in one spot, that they were a tree, and the roots from themselves were implanting deep into the earth. And they thought so strongly about that. Now somebody could come and try to push them as hard as they could, and they wouldn't move. And so they added, you know, the power of your thought in your meditation, and what it is you're truly focusing in on, what you're laser focused in on. You know, it can create some profound changes in you know, the chemistry around you.
Right. And again, you know, the focus is, you want to focus your mind and the mind can only focus on one thing, but what it will do is it will go back and forth rapidly between several things. So you want to train your mind and learn to be focused on that one thing at all times, right? You never, in developing your strengths, fully having that focus on there. It becomes difficult to be stressed if you are only thinking about that present moment, right? If you think about it, stress and anxiety come from reliving unpleasant memories or imagining unpleasant things that have happened
That
haven't happened yet, right? And so when you stay in the moment, and the mental relaxation is there for your taking. I mean, you can grab and focus on that one strength or situation, and so it's a very big, powerful. I mean, I do it even like when I'm at a doctor's office. You know, I'll sit there and just kind of think about and just relax and let my mind explore, and I'm looking for that passion, right? You've got to live your life.
Oh, that makes complete sense, you know, because you think about when you're really stressed out, it may not necessarily be because of that specific given moment. Maybe it's something that was similar to that moment, and you've been hurt really bad in the past.
Absolutely.
And that imagery that comes in your mind, or that feeling that comes in your mind from that given moment that it's awakened, it creates all this other stress, and then leads you to all these other issues. And so, you know, that completely makes sense.
Well, and that's a good point. Is a lot of people, we reflect back to the past, right? And our minds are so tricky because we instantly go to the negative, right? A lot of times. Let me give you an example. If somebody doesn't call you, or your child doesn't call you, or something happens where your spouse doesn't call, their phone died, instantly your mind goes into this negative state, like something's going on, and panic mode, and did they get in an accident, and blah blah blah, and how come they're not calling? So all these things start coming up from your mind that you have absorbed from past, and you know what you've been programmed at an early age. And at the end of the day, it's a simple thing that, you know, the phone battery died, or she locked it in her trunk, or the car got locked, you know, and her purse was in there, or he, you know, left his phone at the restaurant and had to drive and get back and get it. And but you mentally, your mind went there. And people, you've got, you know, you don't want to live in the past. You want to stay in the moment and just know that, and trust that things are going to work out, right? And you know, the next thing to do within the meditation, and what it does is it deals with fear and anxiety, right? and this is what blocks you from understanding your passion and your strengths, is that it's our fears and our resistance that stop us from achieving the great things that we want. It's very difficult to fail if you have a purpose, right? We talked about your why. And you continue towards it until you accomplish it. Remember, it's our doubts and fears that stop us all from trying whatever to go out and accomplish that strength, as we're talking about developing your strengths. There may be, like I said, the book. There was this fear factor that I had that I didn't want to go because I didn't think I was a good writer. But then I learned all these things about ghostwriters and where you have these different editors and PLR content and all these different things out there to help you become the writer. I had it in the mind, and I learned some quick ways to now I can teach people how to write a book in less than 30 days, right? But at first, I had that fear, that anxiety that I couldn't do it. But I took it head on. And you know what? In the beginning, it was terrible. I made mistakes, just like the show. We've had mistakes, but we keep getting better and better and better because we stay in that moment and we meditate so that we bust through the dealing with that fear and anxiety.
Now, let me ask you, what pushed you to push through that? Because I know a lot of people that are out there, they're entrepreneurs, they're working on developing their strengths, and they hit these roadblocks and they give up. Instantly. They give up so easy. And sometimes, you don't want to not give up, when there's, maybe you're not paying rent or whatever's going on, there's some times where, you definitely should make different decisions in life. But most of the time, I've noticed is it's really just getting over a couple of those speed bumps and you achieve your success, you achieve your greatness. And so what is it that continues to drive you?
Well, I have a favorite quote, and it's up on my Facebook, and the quote is when my desire to succeed at something is more powerful than the disappointment of failure, I can do anything, right? I know that when I have that passion about, once I lock onto something and I say, you know what, I'm going to go do this. Am I going to make mistakes? Yes, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to go out there and do it. I'm going to develop my strength. My strength is I had to take information from my mind that I've been trained and have done all through my life and put it into a book. And how was I going to do that? And take it through the process of getting it into formatted and doing the graphics and coming up with the titles and having an editor help me. All these different things that I had to learn on the way. Now I've streamlined it to where, gosh, I'm going to be pumping out books left and right here because I found the easiest way to do it. So it was when that passion, and I would meditate about it. I would meditate about how to focus and what do I need to focus in on, and and then I started from that. The next thing is really developing from the focus and the meditation is then the now, which then comes with goal setting, right? I mean, everything in life we've always been taught about goal setting. And so once I've got the passion, I've been meditating, focusing on what I need to do, I've outlined, now I'm creating a plan with goals, right? And how to accomplish. And because of that, that's what helped me bust through and learn. And again, I'm getting better and better, and I'm using the tools and things. And then from the book, I wanted to do a radio show, and here we are today, right? If you want to go learn scuba diving, what do you need to do? Start researching it. Start thinking about it. Write out your strengths. Do you like to swim? If you can't swim but you want to do scuba diving, you better learn how to swim.
Yep.
Right? Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And it's something that it's like a furnace. It's the only way I can really describe it, because there's been points in my life in the entrepreneurial career, because the last job I ever had was 2002. And so I've been an entrepreneur ever since, and it's kind of like a furnace, and there's a little pilot's light that's going on there, and as soon as you start getting into that passion and you're building something great for someone, and technology, I develop websites, and so when I started in my entrepreneurial career of doing that for years, I was the mad scientist in the basement, and everybody told me to go get a real job, and You know, what are you doing sitting there on that computer?
The
You
haters.
should be out, you know, working. I can get you a job at the shopping market. You want to go stock boxes and stuff, and you know, I get the side jobs here and there, you know, to be able to pay my bills, but I continue to take that furnace and that burning desire deep inside my core, and I push through it, and you know, here I am today. I've got, you know, professional, international names, great people that I work with. I'm on a radio show with Mike Triggers here. I've got offices open up all over the place, and I've got to say, keep that furnace going.
Yeah.
Keep that pilot's light lit, and even when it gets tougher than the toughest time you can possibly have, don't let that light go out.
You know, and I know we're going to go to break here in a minute, and we're going to come back and talk about goal setting and visualization and, you know, the affirmations. But, you know, when you first started your job, and people out there, was it difficult? Did you know what to do? No. But over time, you learned that job, and it became easier and easier. And here's your example. You became an entrepreneur. You went out there and started taking baby steps, and you learned things. Did you make a lot of mistakes on the way?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, the way I got to where I'm at now is selling something I didn't quite know how to do, I'll be honest,
Yeah.
and then trying to figure out how to do it.
Well, and that's the thing. You know, back to what I was saying is that the best way to learn is go teach somebody, right? You had to go do it at that point, and you become an expert at it over time. And there, you know what? I don't like to say the word failure, that you failed your way to the top. These are stepping stones. When you made mistakes and things didn't work out, these were stepping stones to your success and the direction you were going. So we're going to go to break right now. We're going to come back talking about goal setting and visualization here on One Talk Network. Get the You Factor with Nicholas Fortin and Mike Triggers, living large here at the station. Bye for now.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's good.
Yeah,
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
I got some good stuff too on goal setting.
I'll let you go and take that one. I'll kind of jump in through here.
Okay.
Got it down. Got it down. Good job. Take you through each time.
Yeah, we'll kind of just jump in.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, goal setting is a big one. If we run out of time, you know, one of the questions, we'll want to walk away. Let us know when we're about 5 minutes out. And then we can, you know, talk about, even if we said, look, there's a lot of stuff we didn't cover, but go there. But today's show, I want you to walk away with these questions, and then we do our ending like you typically do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Pretty good, guys.
getting better.
Sounds like a national show to me.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Nah. Really?
I know you guys don't think it, but it's right up there with the Westwood One Radio Network stuff.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Content, messaging and content, and what you get out of it, yeah.
That's
I'm not blowing smoke up your ass either.
Awesome.
Well,
If I
that's
was
good.
just listening.
Because you come right out my ears if you did.
I'll have to remember that
He'll
one.
tell you, I'm not one to blow smoke up people's asses.
Yeah,
he's not.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, good
That,
stuff.
you know, because I've been listening, like even today I was listening to AM radio. Because, you know, just listening to them, and then like once in a while I get into the FM, but they don't talk a lot, right? The
Right.
FM, unless it's the morning drive, but, you know, I don't get up until, you know, late. My mornings don't start till late. So, but point is that I've been listening and just kind of learning, picking up things.
Yeah.
So that's why what we're putting together has got to be, it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
You're not an early bird either?
No, I'm a late night owl. You know what? Another thing that we can add to that is PR
That
training.
too. Yeah.
To,
That's true.
yeah, I have a whole thing, and I actually have a lady that if we needed to, I could bring in, but we could probably
Pull it up or
float ourselves. I've got enough stuff.
For piece when you guys go from segment to segment, tease what's coming up next.
Okay.
Tease?
Okay.
Especially now, tease what's coming up next week. Give people a
Oh.
little nugget.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Let me pull that up.
Got about 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah, show sounds great. I'm definitely enjoying it. Just sitting here, like, you know, doing the tech part.
You are getting a major education, trust me.
All right, 13 seconds.
By the 105th week, you're gonna be like transformed, I promise you.
5, 4, 3, 2.
This is Nicholas Fordham and Mike Driggers on Get the You Factor here on One Talk Network. And today we're talking about developing your strengths. We went into a number of great tips on developing your strengths. Again, the positive affirmation of the day is I stay mentally present in each moment. We went into a little bit into the meditation, the side of meditation, and the secret of most millionaires. Did you know that almost every millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire meditates? Now, each person meditates differently. Some, as they're walking down the street and, they hear the cars passing by, they do a silent meditation and just kind of focus in on the cars that are passing by them. Others will sit with their legs crossed and thumb to index finger and really get into the meditation. However you find that relaxation state and have the ability to clear the mental chatter out of your mind, you really want to do that each morning. I know I myself personally, I try to get a cup of coffee and I sit by a waterfall in my backyard. I've got a little pond and I like to sit and listen to the water run, at least one time throughout the day. That is a thing that helps me gain that mental clarity. Now, the next segment that we're getting into in developing your strengths is goal setting. Now, with goal setting, this is something that has absolutely changed my life. When I was 18 years old, I got into the world of network marketing and direct sales. I ended up joining a company that was led by the great Hubert Humphrey, and it was long ago, and in the very beginning of teams and goal setting, and in most businesses like that, is really where you learn your positive mindset, where you learn how to go out there and find self-development books, self-development education. And so I remember as a young 18-year-old, I read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey.
Yep, great book.
And in that book, it gets into the section of sharpening the saw. Every day you want to focus in on something mentally, physically, socially, emotionally, and spiritually. And every day focusing in on doing at least one of those 4 things. And then it gets into the goal setting. Your weekly, your monthly, your short-term, your long-term goals. And I even had one of those compasses that you get, the planners that had all the Stephen R. Covey quotes inside the planner. And I went along in there, and what really triggered my personal change is, he talked about your top 10 goals in life. Writing down your top 10 goals in life, reciting them to yourself in a mirror 3 times a day for 30 days, just like the positive affirmations, how we teach. And what that does, just like positive affirmations, is it plants it subconsciously into your mind. To where now when you're going to your short-term, your long-term, your weekly, monthly, even daily goals that you start to go after, whether you write them down or not, or you place them in your I like to call it my mind file cabinet, and you make that decision, subconsciously without even thinking about it, you're actually going after your goals in life. And I remember, when he wrote in the book, he said to take your top 10 goals, and after you've done the practice of reciting to yourself 3 times a day for 30 days, you put them in a safe deposit box. Come back a year later, and you'll be surprised that you will have checked off a few of your lifetime goals.
Absolutely. And what a lot of people don't realize is that you could create goals to accomplish certain tasks, right? And a certain task may be like winning your local tennis tournament. That would be a goal, right? If you were that tennis player, you were learning how to do the tennis tournament, right? You were going to go out and learn how to do that. Goals can also be directed toward developing a certain skill. Maybe there's to win that particular tournament, you need to get better with your backhand swing. right? So you
Mhm.
practice and practice and practice, and you visualize you making the mistake with your backhand swing, and then you visualize that you're now doing it correctly, and the ball's going through the air and hitting in the right spot where the other opponent can't get to it, right? And so you visualize and you practice that over and having a goal. So you break down the goal. Well, okay, what do I need to do? Well, I need to practice this many times a day. Maybe I need to get an instructor to help me on my backswing. I want to videotape, right? So now we're breaking them down into little specific goals. And then you want to have a time frame. Put a time frame around it, right? Having a specific destination in mind, you can determine the course of your life, but I always want to put it in writing. I want to see it every day, because our mind gets so cluttered with life. Things take over that you start losing the focus. Remember where we talked about focus, is you lose that. But when you see it there every day, and make for your tasks to develop these strengths, is take your goals and no more than 8 weeks out, right, for tasks and skill sets. It's difficult to stay focused longer than that, but you want to have, if you have big goals like you were talking about, your top 10, break them down into smaller ones. And even down to what's your DMO, daily method of operation, in achieving those goals. Know what it is that you need to do daily. So I want to spend an hour doing a backswing. I want to videotape, my back when I'm playing, and see how my backswing's working. And then what do I need to improve, and visualize that, right? And then make it measurable, right? It's hard to, on a backswing, to make it measurable. It's easy to do for money or for success, but on a certain task, it may become hard to accomplish. But what you want to do is learn to reward yourself. If you do a perfect backswing, you're doing it all the time, you know what? Treat yourself to dinner. Treat yourself to a movie. Get used to that feeling of winning and succeeding, that feeling of, God, I got it. Have you ever worked on something, like I know in technology, and when I used to do programming for websites, because that was a skill that I went and developed. I wanted to learn. Matter of fact, my whole life has been in marketing, and when the web started coming around, I figured the best way to market was going to be the internet. You know what I did? I went back to school to learn how to program and design, back when Notepad and Netscape. And I remember times like there would be something that wasn't working, and I'd get so frustrated, and over and over and over, and all of a sudden I found what the issue, maybe it was a little period that was in the wrong place and it messes up. But man, when I found it and it was working, it was a new thing I was trying to animate, God, the feeling of that was like, wow, this is so cool. I got it to work, and you're like excited. I want you to capture those emotions. Have you ever had something like that where you worked on something?
Oh, it happened this last week, in fact. I was actually flying out to Orange County, landed in Laguna Beach, and one of my clients, NancyOn.com, I was developing her website, and everything was good to go. I was doing the last little final pieces. I dropped into the membership site, and the membership software conflicted with another software that was in there, and all of a sudden I locked myself out of the admin area.
Oh no.
So there was no way for me to make any changes to the site. And what I hadn't done, which I teach to do to any of my developers, is make a backup anytime you make major changes. So I had no backup. I was there, and luckily I had a programmer over in India. And I said, oh, okay, well, I just landed in Laguna Beach. If you could go ahead and fix this overnight, then in the morning I could do the last little touches before the timer ticks down to 0 on the landing page that was there, the splash page, and the website goes live. Well, long story short, there was some miscommunication, and the next morning it wasn't done. And so I set into panic mode,
Man.
and I get into panic mode, and I basically meditated. I got myself to relax. Hey, I don't know database that well. I know MySQL. I know some functions, but I don't know how to write functions from original to go find and replace everything in the database. And that was the type of stuff that I needed to do. So I looked through the forums, and nobody really had an answer. So I dug in, and I went through and tried to figure out what is the most logical thing. And long story short, I pulled it off, and I got the website live 6 minutes before the timer hit 0.
Wow.
6 minutes. And that happened to me this last week, and it was one of those things where, let's just say I wasn't able to meditate, relax, take my inner strength and go after, my ability of finding and figuring out what the issue was and finding a way to correct it. If I didn't take those steps to relax, it could have been catastrophic. This particular user had hundreds and hundreds of people going to the website to take a look at it right when it hit 0.
Yeah, I mean, that emotion that you had once you figured it out, that's the emotion that I want you to learn to capture and reward yourself. So you take your girl out to dinner or something, but
it was almost better than sex. I can't
almost,
quite
right?
say that.
Almost. Don't tell your girl that. But the point is that you capture that emotion, and you'll have that feeling, and you can always draw back to it, because when you're doing your goals, you want to take your accomplishments and things that you accomplish. Now look, goals are just a GPS to a destination. On your way, are you going to take some wrong turns left and right? It's your map, right?
Mm-hmm.
My GPS was acting like crazy. I was trying to get downtown. I couldn't figure out how to get there. I was off track. But it put me back on track because I was using it and got it to work correctly. So it doesn't mean, look, you put it in writing, and maybe you fall short. Maybe you're trying to lose weight, right? Which is pretty vague. When you're doing goals, be specific, right? Don't just say lose weight. I'm going to lose 15 pounds in 8 weeks. That's specific. But you know what? If you only lose 12, is that bad? Oh, maybe I didn't achieve 15, but guess what? I lost 12. That, to me, is a reward. That's a success. So you want to be able to be specific in your goals, right?
I really like how you said that the GPS. I just thought of in the top of my mind an acronym for that. Generate profound success.
There you go. Generate profound success. I like that.
Set your goals, and then set your GPS to start on those goals, and generate profound success on your goals.
Yeah, and you know what? And here's an example in being specific on goals. On or before, let's say June 1st, I will have done what is necessary to be able to drive a golf ball in the fairway a distance of at least 250 yards at least 80% of the time. That's being specific on a goal, right? Golf.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played golf in a while. I miss it, and I want to go back out there and do it. I love it. I'm going to take the kids out. But that would be something that's specific. Now, create that daily routine around that, right? And that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, and almost every professional athlete that's out there, you were talking about practice and practice and practice of perfection. And if you get that perfect swing, reward yourself for that perfect swing.
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about recording yourself going and trying to get that perfect swing, and then seeing yourself in action and understanding that. And that can lead into almost everything that's out there. But the big thing that I started thinking about is really the mental focus, the mental laser focus. What is it that these athletes do? They picture that move, they picture that play in their mind before they do it. And so you talk about mentally preparing yourself. You can have a long mental preparation for, say, a business meeting, but let's just say the ball just gets hit your way in baseball, and you're out in left field, and you've got to catch that ball. So in a matter of 2 seconds, you've got to mentally see yourself catch that ball and then go catch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here's some real quick things on your daily method of operation. And you guys, you can go to GettheYOUFactor.com and download this report along with the audio of this recording and the show. But we didn't get a chance to talk about visualization, and we have a downloadable document with some exercises. But real quick, the daily method of operation should be visualizing achieving your goals should be 1. 2, read and rewrite your goals each day. You know, I've talked about when the shuttle's going or the rocket goes to the moon, it's off track 90% of the time, right? So it's always adjusting. And you want to be able to do the same thing, and put a reminder on your desk or your bathroom mirror or any place where you work to see it. 3, visualize again at bedtime your goals and what it is, your strength that you're trying to develop. And then track your progress. You know, where are you at today and where are you a year from now, right? These 4 simple things will only take a few minutes each day and dramatically improve your odds for success. The funny thing is even the athletes practice over and over the simple fundamentals to get great at what they want to do in their profession, right? They practice those simple little things. So next week's show, because we're running out of time here, is about working moms, right? Calm the chaos with some time management program principles to help control the chaos. So go ahead and let's go ahead and close out. I guess we're about a minute out, I think. So let's
2
go.
minutes.
2 minutes. All right. Well, let's before we go, let's talk to them about some questions on what we were talking about today, strengths that we want them to write down and think about.
Absolutely. And before I do that, you know, I want to mention to everybody that we do broadcast live. For those of you viewers that are watching us live, we record the show. You're able to listen to it 7 days a week on your drive time at onetalknetwork.com. 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We record live on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to watch us live, ask us questions on Twitter. You're welcome to ask us questions. We are launching the membership area of our website this week. So I stress to every one of you, go to GettheYouFactor.com, register on there. Once you register, there's going to be a free membership area, and we're also going to have 3 upgrade levels. And you're going to be able to upgrade throughout those levels and get access to some of this great content. So for today's workshop, this along with a number of other pieces of content are going to be in there. Here's some example questions that go with this worksheet. What activities am I most passionate about? And you write down those activities you're most passionate about. What are 3 things I've always wanted to do but haven't? What are 5 negative thoughts that occur consistently in my self-talk? What positive statements that support my goal can I substitute for negative thoughts? So these questions and more are built into the downloadable worksheet that are in with the show. And again, next week's show, Working Moms, Calm the Chaos. Family Matter Mom goes back to work. We're going to be talking about that this next week. So as we end out the show, I want to ask you a question. Awaken the inner you. Throughout the course of our educational radio show, our video radio broadcast combined with our online educational material and workshops, you will discover what has been hiding inside of you all along. Our program is built specifically for you to help you get what you want out of life. You'll be presented with key fundamentals that will guide you through anything in life and help you to respond in a different way, a new way, a way you factor to be the best possible way for you. You guys, thanks for being a part of the show. Be sure to register on GettheYouFactor.com, and thanks for listening to One Talk Network.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Good to go. Cool. That's the show. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. All right, guys, thanks for watching.